I want to share something personal with you today, dear friends. Perfectionistic parents often set extremely high standards for themselves and extend these expectations to their children. Gulnara, can you fix your necklace? It looks a little crooked. Your room isn't clean enough. You need to keep it perfect. We are all a little imperfect, and that's perfectly okay. Hello, I am Gulnara Omar, and welcome to my weekly podcast. Please join me and my guests as we dive into wellness, empowerment psychology, health, beauty, and helpful tips on how to create positive change with greater energy and courage. So, let's get inspired to live healthier, more empowered, and fulfilling lives. Why do parents criticize their children? Have you ever been criticized by your parents and it really annoyed you? If yes, you might find this episode insightful. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my podcast, where we dive into mental health, personal growth, self-love, and empowerment topics. I'm your host, Gulnara Omar, licensed psychotherapist, writer, and speaker. And today we continue to explore a topic close to so many hearts, perfectionism. Today we'll be discussing how perfectionism affects parenting and why perfectionistic parents or caregivers tend to criticize or correct their children so much. I will share my personal story with you so you may be able to relate to my experience and remember yourself being in similar situations. Let's start with the idea that perfectionism acts as a defense mechanism. Imagine it as a shield you're holding up, thinking it will protect you from rejection, failure, or not being good enough. According to renowned therapist Susan Blum, perfectionism is there to ensure that you are loved and safe. It's like an internal guard, making sure you're never caught off guard by criticism or losing control. But here's a twist. That shield also keeps you from experiencing life in its fullest, most authentic form. Perfectionism convinces us that we must be flawless to deserve love and happiness. The truth is that our imperfections are what makes us human, relatable, and lovable. Embracing our imperfections allows us to connect more deeply with others. I want to share something personal with you today, dear friends. A story about my auntie, who is like a mother to me. She raised me, guided me, and shaped much of who I am today. Her name is Bahit, and I called her Mommy. She used to be a literature teacher. She was also very meticulous and deeply committed to her work, ensuring that every lesson she prepared was nothing short of perfection. Her approach to parenting me was the same. Everything had to be done just right, to the highest standards. My auntie is the kindest person I know, with a heart full of love. But growing up with her high expectations, I began to attach my self-worth to being perfect. Whether it was about doing things perfectly or looking perfect, it wasn't until I studied psychology that I realized something crucial. Her remarks and critical comments weren't really about me at all. Research shows that perfectionistic parents often set extremely high standards for themselves and extend these expectations to their children. This often comes from their own fear of failure, insecurity, or a desire to control outcomes. They believe that by being critical, they are helping their children, imagine helping, to avoid mistakes and achieve success. But this approach can create pressure-filled environment, leading to anxiety and constant feeling of not being good enough. Their criticism, though well-intentioned, is driven by their deep-seated need for everything to be perfect. Let me share a recent story with you just a month ago. And let me remind you, I'm well over 50 now, and my auntie still corrects me on how I look. I remember we were on a video call with me here in Canada and her back in Kazakhstan, where I grew up. By the way, that's nearly 10,000 kilometers apart. We love and miss each other so much. And in the middle of our conversation, she suddenly said, Gulnara, can you fix your necklace? It looks a little crooked. I smiled and I fixed it because I understand how she struggles with perfectionism. But here's the thing, many people don't realize that their loved ones often constantly correct them because they come from a place of anxiety, not judgment. I repeat, anxiety, not judgment. If I didn't know about her perfectionism, I might take her comments personally and feel like I'm not good enough. But knowing what I do know now about her perfectionism, her remarks don't bother me at all. In fact, I just feel more compassion for my auntie and try to support and praise her more, which helps her feel more relaxed and happy. Sadly, not all stories are so positive. Here's another example of perfectionism in parenting. I want to share my client Mandy's story with you. Mandy came to me struggling with perfectionism, and her struggle was deeply rooted in her childhood. Her journey reflects how parenting expectations can shape her view on perfection. She was a deep, deep perfectionist. Her standards were so high, and her father used to say to her, "You missed the mark again. That's not good enough." She came to me because she still could hear this voice of her father. And then every time she would bring a grade lower than A, he would feel very disappointed. And he would say something like, "You should have studied more. Why aren't you doing better?" And her mom, on the other hand, had her own set of demands. She'd often say, "Your room isn't clean enough. You need to keep it perfect. I look at the way you're dressed. It's not appropriate for an event like this." If Mandy's room had a few things out of place, her mom would insist, "You're not organizing your things correctly. You should be more disciplined. What's wrong with you?" These constant comments created such an environment in Mandy's childhood where she always felt that she needed to try harder to be loved. She needed to meet her parents' expectations to be loved and accepted. And her worth was tied to achieving perfection, whether it was acing the test or maintaining a spotless room. These comments damaged Mandy's self-worth. They were driving her to focus excessively on rules and details and order. And she came to me with so many issues, and I felt so bad for Mandy. And of course, we worked together and we did a lot of exercises and hypnotherapy to reprogram her belief that she's not good enough and her self-worth is only attached to her achievements. When I explained to Mandy that her parents' behavior wasn't because of Mandy's self-worth, but because of their own anxiety, she felt so much better. See, knowledge makes us powerful. It empowered me and helped me to feel more compassionate towards my auntie and not to resent her for her criticism. She was like a mom to me, and it made our relationship much closer. So if someone close to you is always trying to fix things, it might be their perfectionism talking, not a reflection of your worth. Remember, perfectionism isn't about you. It's about the pressure they put on themselves. So let's be kinder to ourselves and each other. We are all a little imperfect, and that's perfectly okay. If you enjoyed this episode, my friend, please like and subscribe for more insights and support on psychology, empowerment, mental health issues, personal growth, and embracing life's beautiful imperfections. I would be so happy to see you in my community. Stay empowered to live happily and empower others. With love, Gulnara Omar.